More survival. How to recover from addictions or dependencies free and online. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. Just like the storm that just came up, we never know when there's going to be a storm in our lives. It could be a flooding of our house. It could be a tornado that knocks our house out. It could be a overall job loss, a bunch of layoffs that you had no responsibility for. It could be a change in government regulations. It could be a Social Security check that got lost. It could be any number of things. You could have your grandmother die. Your best friend could be in a car accident and be killed. You never know what trauma, what pain is going to push you. And you never know where you're going to go with that pain. You might turn to drugs. You might turn to alcohol. You might turn to overeating, gambling, inappropriate sexual expression. You may aggravate some minor mental health issue that would have stayed minor if you hadn't have turned to drugs and alcohol. It's just so hard to know what trauma you're going to try to put down, because that's usually what happens. Usually some kind of trauma brings on a drug and alcohol dependency or some other harm to yourself and to your family or to others, to friends. It's just so hard. And yet, it can be cured. Yes, it can. And many of the experts say that sobriety is not what heals you. It's connection. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about. Connecting for no charge with people, probably usually 20 hours a day. There's something available. I've always been a volunteer. I was a volunteer in high school, writing to people that were in prison. And that's what I am. I'm a volunteer. I'm volunteering for a group called LifeRing, LifeRing.org. There are other groups. There's Smart Recovery, there's Dharma Recovery, and of course there's AA. AA has been around for years. I didn't have good luck with AA. AA was, I went to the Al-Anon when I was very young because my mother was an alcoholic. And my father was abusive, and I just needed somebody. I didn't talk about my dad, though, or my mother's abuse. I just listened because I was young and afraid. But AA has been around for a long time, but it uses a higher power. And although I was brought up Lutheran in a very strict home, always going to church, choir, Girl Scouts, Brownie Scouts, summer camp, choir. I was in all of it. Anything connected with the church, I was there. I was baptized and confirmed as a Lutheran, but it didn't work for me. I have since become ordained in earth-centered spirituality, and I'm very comfortable with that. But traditional religion was hard for me because it was always about us, what we needed to do to find our way to heaven, what we needed to do to be accepted. And that's kind of what AA is about. If you start drinking again, you get judged, and that's why I don't volunteer for AA, even though I'm sober. I volunteer for LifeRing because it is non-secular, and so is, I believe Smart is too. I'm not sure. I believe Dharma is Buddhist. I'm not sure. Check yourself. But I have been with LifeRing for several months now. I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be more encouraged. The meetings are just so good. And I'll tell you why. I call it my vacation. And vacation is because in LifeRing, it's non-judgmental, it's non-secular, there's lots of crosstalk, everybody's a volunteer, it's free, there's about 100 meetings a week online. I'm a deep ecologist, don't have to drive a car. Nope, I don't have to use any gas. You're saving a lot of resources. I love that. There are some in-person groups. I believe there's about 50, 55 in-person groups around the United States, and I believe Europe too. I'm not sure about Australia, but I know they're all around the world. I know that online I have had people from Australia, Europe, the United States, Canada, Mexico. Yeah, I think that's mostly what I've seen, and you don't have to show your face when you go. It's a Zoom meeting. You don't have to show your face. You can keep your camera off. In most meetings, I think there's a few that you have to put the camera on, but and there's a few that are just a couple that are just men or just women. But in general, you can keep your camera off. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to answer anybody. You don't have to do anything but listen. And a lot of the judges want people, especially people who have a DUI or something like that, a divorce, custody issues or something like that, we'll ask you to go to the meetings to put yourself in a better position and feel better about yourself and get you a lot more self-confidence. I have to tell you, they're just incredible. I'm always amazed every time I go. I call it my vacation because it's honesty. There's no recording. It's a safe place. There's no judgment. There's lots of crosstalk. As a convener, I coordinate people, but it doesn't, and I often have one or two other people coordinate, co-hosts who are helping me with getting people in and out and helping people with any questions they may have when I'm talking to somebody else or somebody else is talking or whatever is going on. It can be pretty intense because sometimes people wake up in the middle of the night and they go, oh my God, I just have to have a drink. I'm just so distressed. Something is bothering me so much. I've got this trauma come into my life. My grandmother died, or I just got a message that my best friend was in a car wreck. I don't know if they're going to make it. That kind of thing. You can turn on your computer. You can go to LifeRing.org. You can go to online meetings, hit that, and see what's there. Most of them you can come in at any time. Some people ask you to come in at the beginning of the meeting. Usually most of us explain the things I'm explaining to you now. Sobriety is, of course, one of the philosophies. Self-love or self-direction is one of the philosophies. And the idea is to and secular is the other one. Those are the three S's. The idea is to have a place to go where you have a community of people who understand. It's the most empathic opportunity you can imagine. I mean, we talk about death. We talk about suicide. We talk about caregiving. We talk about disabilities. We talk about old age. We talk about young age. We talk about climate change. We talk about economic issues. We don't talk about religion or politics because that can distract us from everything else we're trying to do, which is just be supportive of each other and try to bring each other together as much as possible. And it's just incredible. Some people have told me after 2 meetings, just 2 meetings, they feel like they found a community. I mean, we're birds of a feather. All of us admit to being a little bit crazy. I mean, we talk about all the different mental illnesses and physical illnesses people could possibly have, because that's really, really, really important. It's important. We talk about problems with our kids, let's say teenagers, our spouses, especially how men act or how women act traditionally. And we laugh and we cry. It's perfectly okay to come to a meeting and sob the whole time. And it's perfectly okay to come to the meeting and make a joke. I mean, people do. We try to do things that don't trigger us, because it's not just about drug and alcohol, and it's not just about trauma and trying to get rid of some pain. It's also about gambling or overeating or inappropriate sexual expression, getting in jail, going to jail for something we've done in the past that we're ashamed of, passing out, harming somebody, saying something we shouldn't have said, or something that we regret. Oh, sorry, I have a dog on the floor. It can be just about anything we talk about. There's no subject other than religion and politics that we prefer not to talk about, because it's about helping you in whatever way we can. The idea is that you come into a meeting, you can, like I said, you can keep your camera off, you can keep yourself muted, in most meetings, not all meetings. And you can talk about whatever's going on with you. Now, some of the meetings may have a theme, and they may have a theme for the day, and usually they don't care. And they'll say, well, if there's something really going on in your life, go ahead and talk about it. That's important. That's important to be able to do that. It's important if your child is really sick, or you're having issues with another issue like oppositional defiance disorder, autism, Parkinson's, diabetes, heart disease, impending death, being broke, not able to pay your rent. It really doesn't matter what you want to talk about. What's important is there's people to listen. Honesty, confidentiality, no recording, no judgment. If you're gay or lesbian or both, bi or schizophrenic, or what is emotionally so distraught over something that's happened, you just lost your job, your house just got blown away by a tornado, you had a bad childhood and it's still affecting you. That's okay. Whatever. Any question you want to ask, there's no wrong question, because we're all there because we want to be there. We want to be there together. And if you come to the same time, like I run a meeting that is 6 o'clock in the morning in California and 9 o'clock in New York. So if you want to come at 6 o'clock in the morning in your nightgown, that's not a problem. If you're in bed, it's not a problem. As long as you have a shirt on. I mean, you need to have a shirt on, but that's it. You know, you can be in bed. You can be in the hospital. Some people talk to us from hospitals. Some people talk to us from organizations, clinics, where they're in for 2 weeks to 6 months for drug rehab. That's fine. And if there's a group of you who want to come to a meeting, and you're in some kind of an organization that's trying to help you out, that's okay. If you're studying to be a counselor and you want to come to a meeting, that's okay. Just tell us what's going on. It's about honesty, about being open, and not afraid to speak out about what's happening. And if you want to say, well, I was with a SMART meeting this morning, and I went to an AA meeting this afternoon, and I went to a Dharma meeting 3 weeks ago, no problem. We believe that whatever you want for your self-help that you've put in, your visualization of a toolbox, that's what I like to call it. I like to call it toolbox. What kind of tools do you use to keep yourself sober, to stop with inappropriate sexual expression, to hold yourself back from overeating or gambling or whatever it is? What kind of things do you do? Because somebody else may want to know. There's no question you can't ask. You can ask about suicide or death or disease or any kind of issues that you're dealing with personally, with finances or your house or getting along with your spouse, or maybe you got a window that's stuck and you're hot. You can talk about that. The point is, it's a community, but it's it's a vacation community is what I say, because when I go out in the real world and I say, hey, George, how's Mary today? Oh, she's fine. And you? Oh, I'm good, no problem. We pass. And then I come to find out Mary's dead in 3 days. She was really sick. He just didn't want to bring it up. We don't do that in the meetings. LifeRing meetings are about throwing each other a life ring so that we don't fall over, so that we don't disappoint ourselves, don't disappoint our kids, our spouses, our siblings, our grandparents, whoever it is, our boss. Maybe you just lost your job because you were drinking on the job and they smelled it. We can talk about that. There's really nothing that's off limits other than religion. And some people do say, you know, I really like to go to my church, and I'm sad because I couldn't go because my car was taken away from me when I got a DUI. Well, that's okay. But it's about not proselytizing, not bringing that in, not feeling like you're hopeless or helpless. That's one of the issues that I personally have with AA, and that's one of the reasons that a lot of people prefer this kind of a situation, because we don't accept the fact that we can't help ourselves. Science has shown that when you join a community, when you work together with others, when you're brave enough to say, boy, you know, I only get hammered on Friday and Saturday nights, but man, do I get hammered. And it is a nightmare. I mean, I have so much trouble getting to work on Monday morning, and I just need to stop, because it's just, I know it's only 2 days out of 7, but boy, I really get hammered. And so often in between, I wish I could get hammered. And, okay, that's a problem. That's a problem for you. And if it's something you want to get over, then come and talk about it. We're there. And what happens is people get used to having a morning meeting or an afternoon meeting or an evening meeting, whatever it is they get used to. What they end up doing is creating a community within that meeting. They'll go, oh, well, there's Fred again. Well, Lisa, how you doing? Boy, it's good to see you. And pretty soon you have this connection. You begin to know what state somebody's living in or what country they're living in. Oftentimes I have my co-host and I, we contact each other all the time on WhatsApp in between meetings. And we have a close relationship because we both just adore animals. That's why the thing got bumped a minute ago, because my dog is always very close to me. See the dog? That's the dog right there. And he's big. And when he goes under my desk, he kind of takes up a lot of room, and when he leaves from under my desk, he pushes things. He's still a puppy. He's only a year old. We talk about our animals a lot. We talk about our kids. We talk about our siblings. We talk about family issues. I mean, we've just had Thanksgiving and we've just had Christmas. You know, people know about what that brings out in the family and how tough that can be. And also New Year's. Whoa, talk about problems with alcohol. Boy, you know, everybody's having a champagne or whatever on New Year's. That can trigger people. So those are our areas that are typical, but there's a lot of areas that aren't typical. We had somebody the other day just had a horrific car accident. So we dove into talking about the emotional impact of that and what it feels like to have been a survivor, to lose your car. All the different emotions that would be attached to something as horrific as being hit from behind, pushed across 4 lanes of traffic, spinning around, slamming into a concrete embankment on ice and snow. Wow. Okay? So it's about being able to connect on a very, very personal level. And like I say, a lot of people, they even get together. There was a group that got together 2 weekends ago in San Francisco. I think there were about 10 or 12 of them who got together, and all they'd ever seen each other before was online. but they got an opportunity to be together, go out, have a bite to eat and talk, go out into a park and take pictures and laugh and cut up and talk about the different things and cry. That's what we do. We cry, we laugh, and everything in between. And we do it for free. There is no charge for LifeRing. Do they ask for donations? Of course they do. Somehow they have to keep going. It's not free to have internet service. It's not, I mean, everybody is a volunteer. There's no question about that. There's one person that gets a stipend, but nobody else does. And so it's complicated. I mean, this is the real world we're living in, where, you know, find something to rent in the United States is going to cost you $2,000 a month. Man, that's incredible. I mean, I live in Ecuador, so that's incredible to me, because that just doesn't happen here. But what I'm saying is that whatever is going on in your life, whatever is holding you back from healing, recovery, we call it recovery. If you want to recover, and if you slip, you slip. It's just like slipping on the ice, just like the car going sideways. It happens. Just like somebody dying, it happens. Losing your pet, it happens. And maybe that's it. When people ask me, how do you keep sane? I go, whoop, whoop, I crochet, and I play with my puppies, and I garden. I have a little rental farm, and it makes me happy. And people go, wow, is it quiet? Yeah, well, maybe that's what I need to do. See, that's what the crosstalk is about. And that's what you don't have in some of the other organizations. You don't have the crosstalk because they don't work under that philosophy. And they also don't work under the philosophy that you have control over what happens to you. And the part that I really like, is the fact that you don't have to drive somewhere. You don't have to have a car. You don't have to have gas money. You don't have to use up more of the Earth's resources to get to a meeting. You can get up in the middle of the night. Usually there's not many meetings between 12 and 4, maybe 5. But let's say you can't fall asleep and it's 10 o'clock at night. You get up, you turn on your computer, you go over, you type in LifeRing.org. Pops up, says online meetings. You push online meetings. It comes back, tells you what's going on right then in your time zone. You don't have to figure it out. You still half asleep, haven't had any coffee, really want to go back to bed, but you just need somebody to talk to. You just really need somebody to talk to. There they are, right there. All the time. All volunteers, all wanting to be a part of your life, helping you resolve what you want to resolve, talk about what you want to talk about. There's no steps, no. There's no handling it the same. We're all volunteers, so we all do it a little bit differently. There's the philosophy, the 3S philosophy, and there's the concept of non-judgment, your gender, your skin color, your language, your heritage, the country you were born in, the culture you're with. Maybe you're a biker. It doesn't matter. Maybe you're LGBTQ. No problem. Maybe you're a second language learner. Maybe you're schizophrenic. Maybe you have Parkinson's or diabetes, or it doesn't matter. Maybe you have cancer. Whatever you're dealing with, maybe you almost took your life the night before. It doesn't matter. We're ready to talk about it. Because that's why we come there. That's why we do it. We connect with each other to help each other. One of the things that I always think about, a lot of us have had really lousy childhoods, and I was one of the ones that had a lousy childhood. A very toxic mother who was an alcoholic, and she was extremely physically abusive and verbally abusive. I mean, she just put me down all the time. She wanted boys. She wanted lots of boys, and she had a son after me, but her blood was incompatible with my father, Rh negative, they call it. And he only lived 4 days. And she always blamed me for that I was born a girl and he was born a boy, and you got that. Anyway, the point is that kind of thing, it stays with you. It's part of who you are. And so healing that inner child is something else we talk about. We talk about, well, can't quite see him right now. There's a little dragon up there. That's my dragon, okay? I play with him from time to time, especially online. So somebody gets sad, I go, wait. When you honor that inner child, when you take time for that inner child, when you recognize that what has happened to you as a child affects you as an adult, when you recognize that, and this happens with a lot of us. I know it happens with me, but it happens with a lot of us. They'll say, well, my dad was really crappy to me when he was little, but now he's really old and he needs me, and I have such mixed feelings. And I go, yeah, well, so do I. My mother had a lousy childhood. She had things happen. She went through the depression, all that. She had issues, okay? And I'm real sympathetic to that. I have a lot of empathy for what happened to her as a kid. But what she did to me was horrid. I don't want to, So, yes, we can talk about that. We can say, I recognize the difference in how I feel. How I feel then, how I feel now, how I feel like I'm obligated to do this or that or the other now that I couldn't do in the past. Or I just don't get along with my brother, and he's horrible to me. And you got any advice? And advice is what we try to be real cautious about. We usually try to make I statements. I've heard of people who, like, there's on YouTube, there's a lot of things we'll say over 70, and if you're over 70 and you want to have your life be freer, give up those who interfere with your life and make it tough in your life. And maybe you want to take a peek at that, that kind of thing is really helpful. That's helped me in the past. And those kinds of I statements are really, really so good, because people don't want to be told what to do. We're adults. We don't want somebody telling us how to live our lives. But on the other hand, if you've got a suggestion that worked for you, it might work for them. And that's what we're about, especially if you've had something happen like, wow, I had a car wreck and I just haven't ever felt the same since, and every time I think about getting into a car, I feel like if I don't have a drink beforehand to make me be able to deal with the situation, I just don't want to do. And then somebody will give us some suggestions. And that's where we talk about our toolbox, a way to be able to help ourselves. So, I'm here today because I believe in surviving in whatever it takes, whatever is going on with you that's been hard. If you can survive, and if it's free, and if it's available, I want you to know about it. And I'm here to tell you that I'm one of the conveners, and I hear all the time, this group saved my life. I hear that all the time. And yet, it's the same person, it's just what has happened in their life that being together with other people and talking about it has helped. I want to thank you for being here today. If you want to know anything about me, it's down in the description. If you want to send me a message, I'd love it. I'm happy to answer any questions. Give you any guidance, send you to this link or that link or some other link. I'm happy to do that. Just let me know, because I'm going to pay attention to any comments and try to keep up with it. I'm old, but I'm still here. And I'll be here for the meetings because they're so important to so many of us. Thank you.